We got some people exposing their cheaters after surviving infidelity. Found out my wife cheated 12 years ago, 8 months after we were married. With it being 12 years ago, I don't know how I would feel. Not sure what I would do. My wife and I have had an insanely perfect marriage for the last 10 years. We have been married for 13 years and the first few were pretty rough. We met at work waiting tables back in 2008. We dated for a couple years and ended up getting married in September 2012. Our marriage started out pretty rocky. I was working 60 to 70 hours a week to try and give her the life that she deserved. She has the type of personality where she is friends with everyone. She had a weird relationship with our boss before we started dating. Red flags going off in my head. Basically, his wife wanted an open marriage so she could sleep around. He didn't want it, but inevitably he had to find somebody to sleep with to make it seem fair. That person was my wife. There it is. The little red flag sitting on top of my head. Called it. They slept together a dozen or so times before we started dating. She told me about this before the first time we slept together. Okay, so you knew about the boss and her, but before you guys were dating, it happened at this point in the story. She said there was no emotional connection and he was just a friend and that she slept with him because she felt bad about his marriage. She continued to be friends with him with nothing physical happening. I had found a career that was going to hopefully bring us a great future. She continued waiting tables while she finished school. As the years went on, I got increasingly uncomfortable with her talking to him. I expressed my concern and she told me he's just a friend and basically that I can't decide who her friends are. It bothered me, but I trusted her. We got married in September 2012 and we invited all of our coworkers, including him, to our wedding. Fast forward to July 4th, 2013, and she handed me her phone for something. I look down and I see text messages from him saying, I wish I could bring you breakfast in bed. I wish you were here, etc. I said, well, I can't believe I've been this stupid. We didn't even make it a full year. She swore up and down that nothing happened, that there were inappropriate texts, and that is it. We were constantly arguing and I was drinking at the time, so there was definitely friction. I chose to believe her as long as she found a new job and cut ties with him. She did, for the most part. Fast forward a couple more years. We ended up having our first daughter, ended up pregnant on the 3rd round of IVF. Wow. Oh, I'm so happy you got your baby. And then 2 more within the next 3 years. Y'all were busy. Creating a family. That's just a lot of kids. My sisters and I are all very close in age. I'm like, y'all just wanted to pop those suckers out. Life was stressful with 3 kids under 3 and me working crazy hours to try and provide. 3 under 3. You truly couldn't pay me to do that. Wonderful for everyone else, but we were great. Our lives continued to become more and more amazing over the years. I ended up buying the business I worked for and expanding. My work schedule became minimal. Our kids were all in school full time, so we would spend the days with each other doing whatever we wanted. Sometimes it would be just staying in bed all day. We took family vacations several times a year. Nice house, her dream car, my dream car, etc. What a wonderful life. It was what we have worked toward. I and we were finally enjoying the spoils. Over the last 12 years, once in a while, the thought would pop up into my head that maybe she didn't tell me the truth. I mean, there was enough evidence there in the text messages. I was always able to push it down because I chose to believe her. Then one day, 6 months ago, she said something while talking to her friend on the phone. Something about work, but she said, oh, well, he's oblivious. In reference to me. Something about it made me spend the next 5 months digging through old phones, laptops, tablets, purses to try and find something that would confirm my worst fears. I would have done it for free. I would have done all of that for you for free. Investigator, sign me up. I didn't find much other than a couple of old texts, not from him. Those were all deleted. That led me to ask the question. When I asked her December 23rd, this past year, she immediately started crying and said, why now? Why ever? She admitted to sleeping with him 2 times. Oh, we're not fully surprised here, are we? I mean, the texts were there. He's saying that for a reason. I believe that to be true based on the thousands of texts and timelines I built over 5 months She said she was lonely and I was mean to her back then. He was nice to her at the time and she drove to his house and slept with him. She said all the usual. It was terrible. She didn't owe, he was small, etc. But she went back one more time a week later. She says she doesn't know why she went back. She swears there was never an emotional connection. The sex was terrible and it really had nothing to do with him. It could have been anybody at that time. She was just so alone. She swore on our children's lives that it was only twice and never happened before or after. About 6 years ago, he sent her an email checking to see how she was doing. She showed me it and sent him a mean email back to never contact her again. That he almost ruined the best thing that happened to her. We have been on a roller coaster of fighting, intimacy, sadness, and me leaving for a couple of nights. It's not only that she cheated, it's that she lied for 12 years. That the amazing life we have built was founded on a lie. She's been very open and willing to do whatever it takes to prove to me how sorry she is and that there was nothing else to ever happen. I don't know what to do. I can't sleep. I'm having panic attacks. We have 3 young, beautiful daughters and a business we share. Any advice is appreciated. Oh my man, I don't have any advice. I really don't. That's so hard. It was 12 years ago at this point. Like that, you're thinking back to that time and it's like, that's so irrelevant to my life. But yeah, that was the start of your marriage and it was all just built on this lie. Of course you're gonna be upset. Oh, it's awful. No matter when it happened, it's terrible. Let's go to the next story, but I need a sip of water. I really do. I don't know about you. Well, you know what? I do know. You need a sip of water too. I don't make the rules. Cheers. My husband was my best friend and he has cheated on me. I, 29 female, was married to my husband, 29 male, for 2 years, but we were in a relationship for 14 years. Half our lives. No kids. In my opinion, we were a good couple, full of warmth for each other, support, love, ambition. People in our environment said that we were like the perfect couple. I thought we had a good life, good jobs, family and friends support, traveling, daily chatting during the workday, then talking at home, eating meals together, almost no arguments. But half a year ago, my husband started to admit that he isn't happy and that he needs help. I gave him as much support as I could. I asked him, what can I do for you? I promised I am here for you anytime and I want to help you. I gave him a lot of support and attention. During this half year, my husband has cried a lot and it wasn't a few tears. It was hysteria and despair. I always sat next to him on the floor, sometimes for hours, and tried to find some solution, give him support, hope, begging him to tell me what is happening and how to help him. But he never gave me a reason. So I thought it was about work or the house we were building. I had no idea the reason could be in our marriage. I helped him find a psychologist and psychiatrist. He was prescribed antidepressants, but he didn't want to take them. I also noticed that he spent a lot of time on the phone chatting. He took his phone to the toilet and kept it in his pocket. I told him I noticed this hiding, but I didn't want to break his privacy, so I just begged him, look me in the eyes and tell me I don't have to worry about another woman. Oh, I just know he done looked you in the eyes and said you don't. But really you do. You don't have to, he said, and for me it was enough. I trusted him. 1 month ago, he found the courage to admit that the reason he is unhappy is in our marriage and wants to break up. He said that he sees that I love him with all of my being, with all of my heart, but he can't return the feelings. He said that he changed and we are not compatible anymore. It broke my heart. In one moment, my whole world collapsed. I begged him to go to marriage counseling because there was no way to end such a long relationship in just 1 day without a fight. He agreed for counseling. We were in counseling only once. He said that he is unhappy in this relationship. He is tired. He doesn't want to pretend anymore. He said that he had been keeping this decision in himself for months, but he was afraid to tell me because he felt responsible for me. He didn't want to hurt me. He was afraid that I wouldn't be able to cope alone. I saw that there is no light and hope in him, and it can really be over. When I understood that I can't do anything more, I decided this is the moment for checking his messages and finding a true reason. And And I found what I was looking for. It was a week ago. I don't wish this moment upon anybody, not even my worst enemy. I might wish it on someone who has cheated on me. He has cheated on me with his coworker for over 6 months. So all the time that he was unhappy and crying, it's probably because he was battling the fact that he's been cheating on you this whole time, but didn't stop. She is a 6 years younger girl, and she was in a long-term relationship just a month ago also, but she finished it. So now they're gonna be together. When I thought he was in the office, he was working from her house with her. They professed love to each other. They talked about kissing in the elevator. He promised her that he would put his affairs in order, but needs time. Begged her not to leave him. She said, I will be waiting no matter what. He told me that there was no sex between them. Okay. Who believes? Raise your hand if you believe that. I don't, but I'm not sure if I should believe him. When I told him that I knew, he admitted that he didn't have the courage to tell me about the affair. He wanted to help me become independent, and when I was ready, he would leave. So considerate. And nobody would find out about her. He felt responsible for me and the need to take care of me. He said he fell in love with her. It was the first time he felt something like this because so far there was no comparison. He didn't think it was possible to feel this way. It hurt me like nothing ever before. Yeah. Kind of a slap in the face. I love him with the strongest love in the world. I can't hate him. I know that I am naive, but if he said it was a mistake, I would forgive him in a second. Okay, I'm not gonna judge. That's you. It ain't me. It ain't me. But that's okay. That is your choice. But he won't. He doesn't want me anymore. I know that this is a lack of respect for myself. I know he hurt me and can do it again in the future, but he's my favorite person in the world. He did a lot for me. He gave me motivation and made me ambitious in many life fields. We experienced the most beautiful moments in life together. I don't want to accept the fact that he will live a happy life with her and I will be alone. I have huge support in my family and friends, but at the end of the day, there are only me and my thoughts and an empty bed. How can I move on? How to deal with the situation? I've never lived alone. It's only been a week and I already feel like the loneliness is killing me, even though I have friends who call or meet with me every day. But I only want him. I talked with him every day for 14 years and now we have no contact. Sometimes 1 to 2 logistic messages a day. I have obsessive thoughts about where he is, what is he doing, whether he is with her. I promise I'll go crazy. I nonstop think that she will live my life, my dream life. Maybe they will get married, maybe have kids together. These thoughts are killing me because it was our plan. His and mine. Yesterday I had the first therapy session, but it gave no relief. What should I do? I don't have energy or motivation for anything. Oh, you poor thing. I have been there. A lot of other people have been there. It literally feels like your world is just crumbling. It's just sickening. The thought of your partner with someone else is the... Oh, I was down bad, you guys. When I felt everything she's describing, that was your girl living in our house alone. Oh, I couldn't sleep at night. Oh my God, it was awful. It really is just time. Time and healing. You literally just get through every hour of every day and a lot of them suck. But as time goes on, you start to heal, you start to focus on yourself. You just kind of, it just instills this like new strength within you, honestly. Gotta give it some time. Next up, I told my wife that if I was going to take her back, she would need to write me out a full confession. This is what she wrote. We get the confession? What did I do to deserve this? Oh my God, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Okay, so it says that this is literally, she wrote it like she was confessing, like talking about it as if it's a real confession. And when I say friend, that's the other person she cheated with, but it was a friend, so. Friend is the man. Curious to know what your take on this confession is. 11 years ago, friend was messaging me as a friend and I let it go too friendly. I told husband I wouldn't message him again. I saw him at soccer and just talked as friends. He knew I was pregnant with daughter and would ask how I was doing. About a year ago, I started having more friendly conversations with friend over WhatsApp. Nothing was flirty or inappropriate at this time, and I didn't delete the messages. I saw him occasionally at soccer or social events, friend's wedding. He was married. And we would just catch up with each other on life/injuries with other mutual friends. Seemed to be normal. A couple months later, the text started getting more flirty and I liked the attention. We sometimes called each other to check in and see how life was. I deleted the messages and the calls. I felt guilty, but honestly felt like someone understood my anxiety and I didn't have the stress of kids or everyday life that I had with husband. He started to ask about my relationship. I admitted that I wasn't happy with how things are going, but that I still loved husband and I wanted to focus on the marriage. He seemed to be supporting of all of this. There were some weeks that husband wasn't being nice to me or I was having a bad week, and friend would ask how things were going with me and husband. I lied and said it was worse than it was to get support because I felt like I had none at home. I said things I know would give me the validation that I needed, that I cared about his support and he was helping me. You know, this is a very honest confession. There was emotional support that was lacking and felt husband wasn't able to provide it at the time. I tried to talk to him about anxiety and emotions, but at this point it was already too far gone and he was dealing with his own issues. We saw the small problems, but not the big ones. I talked about my body insecurities. I sent a picture of my armpit area to show what I was insecure about. It wasn't a sexual picture, but I can see how this may have been misleading. He asked me for more. A couple days later, I sent him a picture of my boobs. He sent a picture back, but I asked him not to send me anything else. I mean, armpit to boobs, right? Naturally. Friend asked what would happen if I asked husband to go to the football game with him as friends. I said he would say no, but friend told me I should because we were friends and that he would say yes. I was honestly surprised that husband said yes. Oh, I'm sure husband's not so happy about that part. He asked to go to the football game with me. I usually went and met up with a variety of people anyways. Nothing inappropriate was done at the game. He drove me home and then pulled over. He asked if he could touch me. I said no. We kept talking a little about my issues and I felt supported. So when he touched my breasts again, didn't you say no the first time? I let it happen. I wasn't happy. I felt immense guilt, but I didn't stop it. He asked if I could touch him. I said no, but then once again, I felt like I would lose the support if I didn't. So I did, and I tried to get it over with as soon as possible, and I didn't feel any connection or desire. I felt so guilty and ashamed. I told myself I'm stronger than that, but at this point, I knew I couldn't tell husband because I would lose everything. We had some talks after this about me not wanting to do this and him being in a relationship as well. He didn't seem like he was pressuring me to make a choice. This happened 3 more times. Each time I felt like I was digging myself into a bigger hole and was still not happy other than the emotional support, which I wasn't getting when I was being physical. Yeah, it's just not adding up here. I tried to have conversations with friend about how we couldn't keep doing this, and I was always convinced that he was helping and not pressuring me into anything. There was another time we stopped for coffee and we were talking in his car about life. He asked to touch me again. I said yes, and then a minute later said no. He listened. He then asked for a BJ. I said no, and we continued talking. I'm honestly not sure what he said to convince me to. I was terrified afterwards. This wasn't how I wanted my life to go. I know I liked the support and the validation, but I felt like it got out of hand. Because you let it. If I was friends with someone, you crossed the line, and then you said, hey, I don't want to do that anymore, we're both in relationships, and they keep asking you, is that really a friend? Like, girl, be so I'm not even considering this person a friend, but I'm just saying, in her mind, it's not adding up. I didn't know I could feel so guilty, but also somewhat supported at the same time. Girl, him asking to touch your boobs and asking for a BJ is not support. I tried looking for other ways to get the happy feeling. Nothing replaced the happy feelings that I was looking for. He told me he had feelings for me, but he didn't want to F up my marriage. I have feelings for you, but I don't want to mess up your marriage, so can I just touch your boobies and you give me a BJ? I'm so annoyed. I knew this didn't make sense because everything we were doing was effing up my marriage. Well, thank God you said it. I was scared to tell husband anything that was happening along the way because I felt like I was going to be screamed at, hurt, kicked out, felt feelings of never being good enough again. I wanted to be a good wife, but I knew deep down I already effed that up. There was no kissing or sex or any other touching of my body. That felt way too intimate and I felt sick even thinking about it. I wish I would have been stronger to say no and stick with it previous times. He had a girlfriend for a couple of months towards the end. Oh, he wasn't married? I asked him how he could say these things to me and still go home to her. I wanted to find a reason for why I was doing what I was doing. He always said that he knew he couldn't be with me, so he needed to have someone else to fulfill those needs. I really just wanted emotional support, and it felt like I needed to do more physical things eventually to get that. It sickens me thinking about the thought of this. Same. After this all went down and I lied to try to save anything I could, I only told part of the truth because it was easier. I called friend to tell him that I told husband about our relationship. He asked me if there was any way I could save it. I told him I couldn't talk to him again and to leave me alone. Not the right decision. I felt ashamed and angry at myself. I realized how much bigger of a problem it was. There was anxiety, self-worth, communication, and abandonment issues that I never saw in the moment. It feels like I was on a bad autopilot and just going with anything that felt good to get rid of the shame. It wasn't the right choice. If I was worried about not being good enough for my husband before, that's something I struggle with even more now because of what I did to him. I feel so guilty and ashamed that I didn't realize how bad things had got before it was too late. I made decisions that I am not proud of and will forever remember. I will grow up from this experience and become a person who is in more control of her life. How do we feel about this confession, you guys? It seems like she's genuinely sorry. I think she feels the guilt and the shame, if this is true. But on the other side, some people might read that and be like, she's lying, she's downplaying, more physical things happened. But if I'm just taking that for the truth, she does sound sincerely sorry for it. If your partner gave you that confession, what are y'all doing? Tell me, what are y'all doing? We got another little one here. Just a little quickie. Pun not intended. Cheating husband caught. Caught him cheating almost 2 weeks ago. I suspected for a while. He denied it. He blamed my medication, which he said was making me paranoid. I thought I was going mad. He swore on the kids' lives he wasn't. He was. I was right all along. The pain is unbearable. 27 years together. He's all I've known. He's moved out, still with her. I just feel like I can't go on. If I didn't have children, I wouldn't be here now. No. People say it's early days time, it will heal, but I just can't see it. I filed for divorce the day I found out. He replied, agreeing to it. That hurts too. I wanted him to come back, beg for forgiveness, but he isn't. I'm not saying I take him back, but I want him to want to come back. How will I ever get over this? The pain is even physical. Keep thinking of the lies he told me over and over, getting flashbacks of catching them. When will the pain end? Oh, in time. If you guys have any advice for someone who is going through a breakup, a heartbreak, catching their partner cheating, just put it in the chat. You never know who will see it and they just might need a little something, you know? I've been there. We've all been there through heartbreak, no matter what the circumstances. And it's awful. I don't wish a broken heart on anyone, you know? Heartbreak's a different kind of pain. On that note, I love y'all. No broken hearts here. I love you all so much. Okay? Stay classy out there. Stay sassy. And I'll see you tomorrow. Oh my God, I didn't do my little hand thing to cover the camera. Redo. I'll see you tomorrow.